Today we're diving into 10 super affordable Pokemon cards that are about to blow up in price. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out in the hobby, you won't want to miss these hidden gems. Get ready because by the end of this video you might be grabbing these cards before everyone else. This list consists of 10 cards and I will throw in at the end a secret card that no one is talking about but that I think is the best one of this list, so stay tuned until the end. The first card of this list is Archaludon, illustration rare from Stellar Crown. What can I tell you about this card? The art is super cute, you can see the Pokemon just playing with the kids outside. The art is amazing as most illustration rares in the Scarlet and Violet era, and it comes from Stellar Crown, which is a set that is getting really expensive lately. Now the reason this card is here is not only because the set is kind of pricey right now, but because this card you can probably get for less than $4. With a later explosion in illustration rare prices, this is a really good price for an illustration rare, and I think this is one of the best inside Stellar Crown, of course respecting the starters Squirtle and Bulbasaur, which are in a whole new level, but this card for $4 is definitely a bargain. The next spot goes for Torkoal, illustration rare from Twilight Masquerade. Same as the last pick, the illustration rares are really hot right now. That was pretty bad. But you can see Torkoal is just acting as a furnace for this old man. The art in this is kind of a mix between realistic and hand-drawn. It looks really good. This card was pretty cheap in the past, and now let's say it's still cheap because you can grab it for $6, probably around that. Same as Stellar Crown, I'll have to say that Twilight Masquerade is getting really pricey, and that if you can get these cheaper illustration rares for less than $10, I think they are a great investment right now. And by the way, if you want to collect these cards or just get this master set together, I think this is the right time because these cards will get really expensive in the future. Twilight Masquerade is a great set with the Greninja inside. It has a bunch of crazy illustration rares inside like the Infernape or the Pinsir, but we should not forget about these less popular Pokemons with these crazy arts, because I can see a lot of people entering the hobby wanting to collect the full set or just wanting to collect random illustration rares that are almost pieces of art, so definitely keep an eye on this. By the way, if you're interested in participating in the next channel giveaway, we're giving away this Neo Discovery Umbreon pack. The only requirements are to like, comment and subscribe. It's completely free to enter. The third spot, and the most random of this list I would say, is Kyurem EX Full Art from Surging Sparks. Now there's a couple reasons this card is in this list. I know I don't usually use full arts in these kind of videos because I think, and I still think, that illustration rares are so much better designed, but the reason this card is here is basically because there's a black and white set coming out soon, and I think this will remind people that we have all these, you know, old Kyurem and Reshiram, like all these popular Gen 5 Pokemon cards will increase in price. The second reason is that Surging Sparks is absolutely crazy and booster boxes are pushing almost $300, so the fact that you can grab this card for $3, I think it's still a good bargain. Now I'm not saying there will not be reprints of Surging Sparks, I expect to be reprints, but as some of you may know, distribution is just increasing the prices of everything, and I do not expect Surging Sparks booster boxes to go back to retail or to $100, and same with the cards inside. I do not expect these cards getting any lower any soon, so I think this for $3 is a great pickup right now. And the next spot goes for Cyclizar, illustration rare from Paradox Rift. If you know me, you may know that I just love Paradox Rift. I think the depth inside the set is actually insane. The amount of beautiful illustration rares is also insane, and I think this card is definitely underlooked right now. You can grab this card for about $5, and if you check the art, I don't know, I just love it. It's just so cute. You can see all of them just parked in like a parking slot. One of them is sleeping, the other are just talking. I just love this idea. I think for $5 is a great pickup. Paradox Rift, same as every single set right now, is getting really popular, and the booster boxes are now pushing about $160. So same as before, illustration rares for less than $10, I think they are great pickups. I think Cyclizar is not the most known and desired Pokemon, but I still think the art is pretty beautiful and will carry this card away. This is the only card that we will mention from Paradox Rift, but I have to say that you can make 10 videos like this just from illustration rares inside Paradox Rift, so make sure to check the whole set inside because I'm sure you will find crazy illustration rares really cheap that are good for collecting or investing right now. And with this we come to number 5, Chatot illustration rare from Temporal Forces. Now hear me out here because this card is quite more expensive than the other illustration rares mentioned here, and you can grab it for about $10. The reason is here is just because I love the art, honestly. I think Temporal Forces is not a great set, I'm gonna be completely honest, but still we have a lot of illustration rares that are like undervalued or underlooked inside, and I think this is one of them. The fact that you can see a lot of Chatots just flying around a cool city, windy city with all the clothes outside and stuff, I don't know, it gives me really good vibes. I think it gets the job done. Chatot is kind of a niche Pokemon, but still, if you think about all these arts as collectibles, I think this is a great collectible piece. Now, from inside Temporal Forces, you have a lot of cool cards like Lickitung, who was mentioned in some videos before, but they are quite expensive right now, so we're focusing on these cheaper cards that we can still grab for this price range, like $15, $10, $5, and I think Chatot for $10 is still a great collectible. And talking about Temporal Forces, the next spot goes for two cards that are kind of an art set, and they are Minccino and Cinccino from Temporal Forces. These two beautiful cards just represent what I love about this hobby, and it's that I just like art sets. I like when cards just fit well together, and you can see that the art is kind of the same here, but you can see Minccino just jumping in a room and everything is a mess, everything is like all messed up, not organized at all, and then you see that Cinccino, like the evolution, is just staying there, everything is shiny, everything's well put together. So I just love this idea of a cool, you know, evolution like this. I think that's a great job done, and I think that to grab these cards for still like $12 to $15, both of them are kind of that price, so to have this art set for like $30, let's say, I think it's a great idea, honestly. Like, I think it's pretty cheap if you consider the price of the booster packs right now, that $30 can be like 3 Surging Sparks boosters. So I think for $30 to grab these cards together, maybe you can grade them together, I don't know. You can do a bunch of things with this, and I think they are great collectibles. I will personally grab one of each because I just love it. I just love them and I don't have them and I just want to display them. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on this. Number 7 of this list is the cheapest card of today's video, and it's Wugtrio from Paldean Fates. The reason this card is here is kind of biased because I've pulled this card myself 7 months ago, something like that, and I remember checking the price of the card, and by then it was like 50 cents, and I was impressed because the art of the card looks absolutely amazing. I love seeing all these Wugtrios, like regular Wugtrios, and then see the shiny one at the center of the picture. I really love this card. I think for $1 is ridiculously cheap, and if you're not aware, Paldean Fates have been exploding in price lately, so I think that for all of these people who are trying to collect the whole set, so to create a master set of Paldean Fates, I think they will just pay higher prices for these cheaper cards. So I think it's both great idea if you want to collect this set or just if you want to invest in some copies of this. I could see this card going for $5 or $6 without a problem at all. It's a beautiful illustration rare coming from one of the most successful sets in Scarlet and Violet, so I think it's a great pickup. But enough Scarlet and Violet because they're not the only sets that have cheap cards inside. Let's move back to the Sword and Shield era and let's start with Absol from Crown Zenith. I'm not a fan of the yellow borders in the card. I like when the card is just a full art. I'm not a big fan of borders that don't fit the image, and this is one of the problems I have with these beautiful galleries inside Crown Zenith. I like Crown Zenith a lot. I think it's one of the best sets we've got in the last years, and the prices of the sealed product have been exploding lately. So these cheaper cards, I would expect them to go up in price too. Now this Absol is just, I was about to say Absol, absolutely gorgeous. It wasn't even in purpose, man. Damn. So this Absol is absolutely gorgeous. It's going for about $3 to $4, and I think with the current prices of Crown Zenith sealed product, this is just a great pickup, honestly. All these cheap cards that you see inside, these cards have been almost like $1 for a long time, but I think they still like have a lot of room to grow, honestly. When Crown Zenith goes to this vintage state that is definitely not right now because this product just keeps getting printed and printed, I can definitely expect these cards to grow in value. So Same as before, if you're trying to collect in Crown Zenith or to invest in some singles in Crown Zenith, I think this is one of your better options. But if you have the budget to spend $2 more and you love Crown Zenith, I would recommend going for Magmortar instead. Now, I like this card a lot more than the Absol, Magmortar just hanging around with Electivire. I love these two Pokemons because I'm really nostalgic about Gen 4, it's one of the first gens I played, and I just love the idea that they just added evolutions of Pokemon that were like not that popular. I remember having a shiny Magmortar, maybe I'm kind of biased through it, but the fact that this card is $6, given the detail and the pure beautifulness of the card, you can see Magmortar just lighting up the fire for them and Electivire having a hell of a time. I don't know, I think this card is super cute. The same as said with Crown Zenith before, I will repeat, Seal product is getting crazy, these cheaper cards will increase in price. For me, it's that simple. Now, I know this card is $2 more, but if you're comfortable like spending $2 or $3 more, I recommend this card instead of the Absol because I think the art is better, and I think having two Pokemons inside has like a better chance of collectors liking it, so I would personally go for this one. The same as said before with Paradox Rift can be applied to Crown Zenith. I could make like 10 videos just talking about Crown Zenith cards because it has a bunch of cheap cards inside that I think have great potential value in the future. But the last card is from Silver Tempest and is the Altaria hugging Lisa. So you can see Lisa just hugging Altaria. I think Lisa has gained popularity lately and this card hasn't been increasing in price because Lisa's appeal was really expensive in the Japanese set Paradise Dragona, which is half of the Surging Sparks English set. You know, Japanese people like waifus a lot more, so usually these girl trainer cards used to be a lot more expensive in their Japanese versions, but I think this card looks actually beautiful. I think that it's so good that we have these cheap cards hanging around in these sets that are getting super expensive from the Sword and Shield era. Silver Tempest is pushing $250, and the fact that it's kind of old, it will help, let's say, help the set increase in price a lot, like the sealed product. So when you see these booster boxes that will be pushing $300 or $400 or $500, because I definitely expect Silver Tempest to be $500 in the next years, so you will still have these cheap cards inside that you can just purchase like as singles. And I think this is one of the greatest thing about Pokemon. If you're just trying to collect the master set of a set that is kind of old, you don't have to pay this super premium $500 per booster box to just master set it, and you can just buy the cards inside. Of course, if you're in a super budget, you can just buy like moderately plates or heavy plates of these cards. Like if you're just trying to fill a binder, I don't think that's a problem at all. And you can get these cards like moderately plated for probably $1 every single card of this list. So I personally prefer to collect near mint versions because I think if you can check the card and grade it and get a 10 back, you can get like a card that's kind of a cheap collectible. You convert it into sometimes even a grail because these cards are kind of hard to grade. Definitely keep an eye on this. For $5, I think it's a great pickup. I expect Silver Tempest to grow a lot in price and the cards inside too, so keep an eye on this. And as promised, I saved the best card for the end of the video, and the 11th or the extra pick is Deoxys from Crown Zenith. I know we have to come back to Crown Zenith when we've spent 5 minutes just talking about this set, but what I really like about this Deoxys is that it's going for $5. It has a VMAX and a V-Star version inside the same set. I personally love Deoxys. I'm biased towards it because I love Gen 3 and Deoxys is one of my favorite legendaries of all time. I think it's super cool that they decided to make like a regular, a V-Star and a VMAX, and they actually decided to make like different Deoxys versions. You can see the regular one is like the regular Deoxys, the VMAX is the Deoxys defense form, and then the V-Star is the speed Deoxys. I just love this. I think it's a great idea. I think it would look so good to have all of these three cards together, and the fact that the other cards are pushing like $40 and $30 makes this card pretty cheap for me. Again, I really like when you can collect whole sets, and I know there will be people that will be collecting all these three together. So the fact that the other ones are pushing like 5, 6, 7 times the price of the regular one, it's a good indicator for me that this card has a lot of room to grow. I understand that this one is much easier to pull than the other two, but in this case I think the price difference just justifies this pick. For $5, it's my favorite card of this list, and I think it will grow a lot in price in the future. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Comment me down below if you're grabbing any cards from this list, or if you're just purchasing other cards. I will read you too. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, have a great day.